The Xernians were no ordinary beings. They hailed from a planet they called Varick, a world known across the galaxy for its merciless landscapes. Born into a realm where molten rivers shaped the land and acidic storms tore across their skies, they had survived countless trials that would make most other species shudder. Each Xernian was molded by a lifetime of facing these extremes, and they wore that fact like armor, with every scar a badge of honor. They saw themselves as the galaxy's elite survivors, the ultimate Deathworlders. This identity wasn't just pride, it was woven into their culture, a core belief passed down from generation to generation. No one could endure what they had. Or so they thought. Around Varick, stories circulated about other worlds, soft and tame in comparison. Xernian scholars had researched countless planets, but every time, they reached the same conclusion: nothing compared to the wrath of Varick. The Xernian leaders, warriors who had clawed their way to the top through sheer endurance, held frequent discussions about the so-called lesser worlds, and often laughed at how they were barely worth consideration. They dismissed other species' adaptations, viewing them as unnecessary, even weak. The galaxy's vibrant species were just interesting footnotes in the Xernians' archives, curiosities rather than true equals. And that was fine by them. There was a twisted comfort in knowing they stood alone, in believing they were the only ones capable of surviving the worst the galaxy had to offer. Their arrogance had taken a formal shape over time, evolving into an expeditionary division tasked with scouting new worlds. The Scouts, known as the Iron Wardens, were a hand-picked group of Xernian elites with one purpose: to verify the uniqueness of their Deathworld status by seeking out and testing any species that might pose a challenge. The Wardens were feared even among their own people, revered for their strict code of survival. Whenever they returned, they brought tales of soft worlds and fragile creatures, further reinforcing the belief that Xernians were, indeed, unmatched. The idea of a rival species was as foreign to them as the thought of Varick's suddenly growing kind. But a new signal had caught their attention, a planet hidden in a previously uncharted corner of the galaxy. It was called Earth. Initial scans revealed intriguing conditions, volatile weather patterns, seismic activities, and a remarkable variety of life forms adapted to these challenges. The Xernian analysts couldn't ignore the data. Earth's environmental profile bore a striking resemblance to Varick in certain aspects, and that was enough to spark curiosity. The Iron Wardens were activated for a new mission, and for the first time, they weren't sure what they would find. Whispers circulated among the Xernian ranks: could there actually be another Death World? The Wardens approached Earth with a mixture of anticipation and skepticism. They fully expected to confirm their suspicions that humans, like every other species before them, would fall short. But beneath the skepticism lay a flicker of excitement. If humans were even remotely close to their level of resilience, it would mean the Xernians were not alone. It would mean a shift in everything they knew. Xernian pride, however, wouldn't allow them to consider that possibility for long. Instead, they readied themselves, armored in both steel and conviction, to judge humanity. The Wardens had always approached their missions with a sense of superiority, and this one was no different. They made their descent onto Earth, viewing the blue-green planet as just another setting for their own triumph. After all, the idea of a species that might survive without Varick's relentless trials was almost laughable. But as they began their descent, their instruments picked up unusual readings. Weather fluctuations spiked without warning, signaling storms that rivaled those on Varick. They observed tectonic activity, volcanoes, and vast oceans filled with creatures that navigated even the harshest waters. Dense forests hid predatory animals capable of ambush and venomous strikes, while towering mountain ranges seemed to challenge the very sky. Earth was, by all accounts, alive and fierce. There was an unpredictable quality to it, something raw and untamed that the Xernians hadn't expected. The data painted a portrait not of a tame world but of one that demanded respect. The Wardens could hardly contain their intrigue. This was a place where life had adapted, survived, and thrived despite conditions they hadn't imagined. Even more surprising, these humans, an unassuming species by galactic standards, were not only surviving but flourishing. Unlike Xernians, whose survival was a matter of physical endurance and adaptation, humans seemed to possess a blend of intelligence, adaptability, and perhaps most surprising of all, resilience that defied logic. This was a species that ventured into the sea despite knowing its dangers, that climbed mountains simply for the experience, that engineered ways to control their environment yet embraced the risk of nature's power. As the Xernian ship hovered, hidden from sight, the wardens watched humans go about their lives. They observed the range of habitats humans had conquered, from icy tundras to scorching deserts, and saw firsthand the humans' seemingly casual relationship with danger. To a Xernian, this was fascinating and unnerving. The humans didn't just endure, they explored. They sought out challenges not for survival but for curiosity, a concept foreign to the Xernian way. The very idea of venturing into danger willingly, without the necessity of survival, was baffling. By the end of their observations, the Xernians felt the first pangs of something unfamiliar, doubt. If Earth was a death world, it was unlike any they'd known. And if humans truly thrived here, then the Xernians might not be as unique as they believed. It was a humbling realization, one that unsettled the wardens. They had expected a soft world filled with fragile beings, and instead, they'd found a planet as ruthless as their own and a species that survived not out of necessity, but choice. As they prepared to make contact, each warden grappled with a newfound respect for the strange, resilient creatures they had watched from above. The Xernians monitored Earth from their concealed vantage point in orbit, curious yet dismissive, expecting to uncover some flaw or vulnerability that would confirm their superiority. From their perspective, every species encountered so far had proven itself incapable of matching Xernian endurance. Yet, as they observed Earth more closely, the initial readings that hinted at danger were confirmed and intensified. Earth was wild, unpredictable, and far from the tame, idyllic world they had expected. In fact, Earth seemed to pose more consistent challenges than many worlds they'd conquered. With its tectonic shifts, weather extremes, and predators lurking in every biome, Earth appeared to be a death world in its own right, and that fact alone intrigued and frustrated the Xernians. As the Iron Wardens studied Earth's inhabitants, they began to grasp the scale of human adaptability. Unlike Xernians, who had adapted their physiology to survive Varric-specific dangers, humans had adapted themselves to nearly every environmental condition they encountered. They observed human settlements scattered across every corner of the globe, from the frozen poles to the scorching deserts, high mountains, and deep forests. Humans were using tools, building shelters, and developing technologies to modify their surroundings, a strategy the Xernians hadn't considered necessary. They were baffled at the lengths humans went to conquer their environment, seeing in their actions both ingenuity and audacity. For Xernians, survival was straightforward. They withstood the elements directly, relying on strength, endurance, and a natural resistance to toxins and predatory creatures. Humans, however, showed a different kind of resilience. They crafted complex solutions, even for dangers they might have avoided, which the Xernians initially dismissed as reckless. Humans exposed themselves to storms, high altitudes, and ocean depths, constructing vessels and protective clothing to face hazards that should have deterred them. It was as if humans not only accepted the challenges their world presented but actively sought them out, an attitude the Xernians found perplexing. To a Xernian, danger was something to overcome out of necessity, not curiosity or leisure. This sense of curiosity and risk-taking fascinated and confused the Xernians in equal measure. They observed people engaging in activities like mountain climbing, deep-sea diving, and extreme sports, with no apparent survival benefit. To the Xernians, it looked like humans were testing themselves against the limits of their world just to prove they could. Such behavior was utterly foreign. On Varric, unnecessary risk was frowned upon. Strength and survival were respected, but recklessness was regarded as foolish. Yet humans seemed to thrive on it, pushing boundaries as if constantly seeking to redefine what was possible. This difference in mindset intrigued the Xernians, leading some to question whether they had misunderstood the nature of resilience all along. The Xernians then turned their attention to Earth's ecosystems, where they saw signs of humans coexisting with and even thriving amidst deadly flora and fauna. Poisonous plants, venomous animals, and infectious pathogens were all challenges humans faced daily. However, they didn't merely adapt biologically, They created solutions to mitigate these dangers. Through medicine, protective gear, and even selective breeding of animals and crops, humans had tamed aspects of their environment in ways the Xernians hadn't anticipated. It was clear that humans used their intelligence as a survival tool as effectively as the Xernians used their physical endurance. The realization was unsettling, pushing the Xernians to reconsider their initial judgments. More surprising still was the discovery that humans not only survived in these hostile environments, but often reshaped them to better suit their needs. The Xernians were familiar with the concept of adaptation but had never imagined altering their environment on a global scale. Humans, however, seemed undeterred by natural limitations. The Xernians watched in awe as humans redirected rivers, cut through mountains, and developed technologies to thrive in space, a place even Xernians hesitated to venture beyond survival necessities. This level of environmental control was unprecedented, marking humans as a species that didn't just accept the dangers of their world but actively worked to master them. As their surveillance continued, the Xernians began to notice that humans also exhibited a unique trait: community-based resilience. They saw humans gathering in groups, pooling resources, and protecting each other in times of crisis. During natural disasters, people formed rescue teams, delivered aid, and rebuilt what had been lost. Unlike Xernians, who survived as individuals or small tribes, humans demonstrated an ability to come together, displaying collective resilience that enabled them to face even the harshest conditions. It was this shared determination that the Xernians found most perplexing and perhaps most admirable. Humans weren't just surviving Earth, they were thriving because they had each other. This sense of communal responsibility extended to their approach to innovation as well. The Xernians observed how humans used science to mitigate threats, developing vaccines against diseases, building infrastructure to withstand earthquakes, and creating early warning systems for tsunamis and hurricanes. It was as if humanity's entire existence on Earth was a testament to their belief in overcoming challenges. Each discovery and invention they made seemed aimed at pushing the limits of their survival. They weren't simply reacting to their environment, they were proactively reshaping their relationship with it. Finally, the Xernians began to see that Earth had shaped humans into beings with a unique blend of adaptability, resilience, and tenacity. Their survival didn't come from brute strength alone but from an unyielding desire to persist, to grow, and to explore. The Xernians found themselves respecting humans in spite of themselves, grudgingly acknowledging that Earth, like Varric, had produced a species capable of enduring, even thriving, in an environment that might crush others. The humans were not mere curiosities or weaklings to be tested, they were formidable in their own right, and the Xernians were forced to admit that they might have underestimated these strange creatures. As they prepared for the next step, the Xernians felt the tension between their desire to assert dominance and their growing respect for humanity. Earth was no longer a simple target for their evaluation. Instead, it presented them with a mystery, one that both intrigued and unsettled them. The possibility that humans could be as resilient, as resourceful, and perhaps even as tenacious as Xernians challenged everything they thought they knew. For the first time, the Xernians faced a question they weren't sure they wanted to answer: could humanity be their equal in survival? The Xernians established contact with humans, expecting an immediate display of awe or fear. They viewed themselves as unmatched, certain that their resilience and power would command respect from any species. Yet, the humans they encountered were neither intimidated nor overly impressed. Instead, humans responded with a casual curiosity that left the Xernians momentarily speechless. The humans regarded them with interest but without reverence, and it quickly became apparent that humanity had its own views on resilience and survival. As they communicated further, the Xernians tried to demonstrate their superiority, referencing their harsh planet and the countless trials they had faced to survive. The Xernians spoke of their physical endurance, their immunity to poisons, and their natural defenses against the hostile forces of Varric. However, the humans didn't seem awed by these revelations. Instead, they listened patiently and then began sharing stories of their own, casually recounting encounters with dangerous environments, apex predators, and natural disasters. The humans spoke of navigating freezing tundras, scorching deserts, and dense jungles, all without the evolutionary advantages that the Xernians had. This unexpected exchange challenged the Xernians' assumptions. They realized that, unlike their own rigid methods of survival, humans had developed unique solutions for each of their planet's threats. Humans had adapted by using intelligence, creativity, and resilience. Rather than relying solely on physical strength or endurance, they had engineered ways to overcome their environment's challenges. This adaptability struck the Xernians as a curious form of resilience. To Xernians, survival was a straightforward path: endure or perish. Yet humans seemed to thrive on innovation and exploration, driven not only by survival instincts but also by a desire to understand and challenge their world. The more the Xernians learned, the more they saw that Earth's dangers had forged humanity into a species that embodied resilience in diverse and unexpected ways. Humans explained how they had tamed fire, mastered agriculture, and built civilizations despite facing deadly diseases, unpredictable climates, and relentless predators. Where Xernians had survived by hardening themselves, humans had survived by adapting, forming societies that allowed them to pool resources and support each other. This communal aspect of survival was puzzling to the Xernians, who were accustomed to viewing strength as an individual attribute. For humans, however, resilience was as much a collective trait as an individual one. As the conversation continued, the Xernians began to grasp humanity's complex relationship with risk. They noticed that humans often spoke about their challenges with a mix of pride and humor, recounting near misses and close calls as if these experiences were something to be celebrated. While the Xernians saw danger as something to be endured, humans seemed to see it as something to engage with, to conquer not just physically but mentally. The Xernians found this outlook foreign yet compelling. To them, the idea of deliberately facing unnecessary risks for personal growth or thrill was unheard of. On Varric, survival was purely a matter of instinct and necessity, but for humans, it was also about the pursuit of knowledge and self-mastery. The Xernians had initially viewed humans as fragile beings who would struggle to match their own strength. Yet here was a species that had managed to survive and even thrive in a world of constant threats, not by fighting against it with brute force but by learning to live with it, by building systems and technologies that allowed them to confront and adapt to the dangers they faced. Humans had developed vaccines to combat disease, built structures to withstand earthquakes, and engineered solutions to problems that, to the Xernians, seemed insurmountable. Their capacity for innovation wasn't a sign of weakness, as the Xernians had assumed. It was a strength, one that complemented their resilience. What intrigued the Xernians most was humanity's approach to knowledge. Humans didn't just accept their world's dangers, they studied them, broke them down into manageable pieces, and devised ways to counter them. They explained concepts like scientific inquiry and experimentation, methods by which they had learned to predict natural disasters, cure diseases, and harness resources. The Xernians realized that humans viewed their challenges as puzzles to be solved, not merely obstacles to be endured. This mindset set humans apart from any species the Xernians had encountered before, as it revealed a depth of resilience that extended beyond mere survival. Gradually, the Xernians began to understand that humanity's strength lay not in their physical abilities but in their determination to understand and shape their world. Where the Xernians saw adversity as a test of strength, humans saw it as a call to action, a reason to innovate. The Xernians' respect for humanity grew as they recognized this shared resilience, albeit expressed in vastly different ways. They began to see that humans, in their adaptability and ingenuity, represented a kind of Deathworlder that was wholly unique. Earth, it turned out, was not just a dangerous planet but a crucible that had forged a species capable of facing and overcoming almost any obstacle. The Xernians left the encounter with a newfound perspective, realizing that humans weren't a lesser species to be judged or dismissed. Instead, they represented a complementary strength, one that challenged the Xernians' own understanding of resilience. In humans, the Xernians saw a reflection of their own determination, yet one shaped by a fundamentally different approach. They had come to Earth expecting to find a world of weakness, but instead, they found a planet where resilience was woven into the very fabric of its inhabitants' lives, manifesting not as brute force but as an unbreakable will to endure and explore. As the Xernians prepared to depart, they acknowledged that their perceptions had been altered in ways they had not anticipated. Humanity's strength was undeniable, albeit unconventional by Xernian standards. The encounter had left them with a deep sense of respect, not only for humans but for the diversity of resilience that existed within the galaxy. Earth was a death world, but it was one where survival was an art, an ever-evolving dance between challenge and adaptation. The Xernians had been humbled, not by a display of raw power but by humanity's capacity to thrive through intellect, unity, and the relentless pursuit of progress. The Xernians departed Earth with a profound shift in their understanding of resilience, carrying back a new respect for humans and their unique approach to survival. For the first time, they faced the realization that strength wasn't defined by a single approach. They had long believed that only the harshest natural conditions could produce a species worthy of the title Deathworlder. Yet Earth had shown them a different kind of resilience, one based on adaptability, unity, and a relentless drive to overcome limitations, both natural and self-imposed. As they discussed their findings, Xernian leaders recognized that Earth posed questions about their assumptions. Human resilience wasn't simply a product of evolution. It was a learned, shared experience, passed down and amplified by generations who had survived, adapted, and pushed the boundaries of what was possible. Their survival skills weren't just a matter of biology, but a testament to ingenuity and the strength of community. This realization forced the Xernians to confront the possibility that their own approach, while effective, was limited in its adaptability. Humanity's ability to survive by choice, to engage with danger even when survival didn't demand it, was something the Xernians had never imagined. Where Xernians viewed survival as a duty dictated by nature, humans had transformed it into a challenge worth conquering, an ambition fueled by curiosity and the pursuit of progress. The notion of thriving amid threats, not just enduring them, intrigued the Xernians, who had always seen survival as a test of endurance rather than an opportunity for exploration and growth. In their observations, the Xernians had initially struggled to comprehend why humans exposed themselves to risk willingly. However, it was this very quality, this willingness to engage with the unknown, that defined Earth's unique brand of resilience. Human exploration of extremes, from the depths of the ocean to the edge of space, symbolized a drive that went beyond mere survival. This spirit of exploration, rooted in the desire to understand and conquer, resonated deeply with the Xernians, who now saw it as a form of strength they had never considered. Back on Varric, the Xernian Council debated the significance of these insights, with some questioning whether their long-held beliefs about resilience needed revision. They had believed that only their own kind, forged in the fires of a brutal environment, could hold the title of Deathworlder. But humans, while biologically different and less physically adapted, possessed a determination that defied expectations. The humans' collective strength, built upon a foundation of cooperation and innovation, revealed a path to resilience that had eluded the Xernians. The Council ultimately concluded that human resilience was not a lesser form but a complementary one, a powerful testament to the strength of adaptability and unity. They recognized that, while Xernians survived through individual might and endurance, humans survived through a broader network of skills, knowledge, and communal bonds. This realization was both humbling and enlightening, as it underscored the limitations of their own approach. Humans, they acknowledged, had crafted a unique form of resilience, one that offered valuable lessons in overcoming limitations and expanding one's understanding of survival. As the Xernians absorbed the lessons from Earth, they began to imagine new ways of approaching resilience and survival. For a species that had long depended on brute strength, the concept of resilience rooted in adaptability and cooperation opened new possibilities. They began to see that survival could be enhanced by more than just physical endurance. It could be strengthened through collective wisdom, shared experiences, and the pursuit of knowledge. These ideas had once seemed irrelevant to them, but now they saw how these values could enhance their own survival strategies. In the weeks following their return, the Xernians started implementing changes inspired by humanity's example. They encouraged cooperation among their clans, sharing knowledge and resources in ways they had previously dismissed as unnecessary. For the first time, they began investing in communal infrastructure, building systems designed not only for survival but for growth. These shifts marked a departure from their traditional beliefs, as they now saw that survival was not just a solitary endeavor but a collective one, strengthened by unity and shared purpose. As their society adapted, the Xernians reflected on the significance of their encounter with Earth. The humans had challenged their pride, their assumptions, and even their identity. In accepting that humans were their equals, the Xernians discovered a deeper understanding of resilience, one that transcended physical strength. They recognized that survival in a hostile world required more than just endurance. It required the wisdom to adapt, the courage to explore, and the humility to learn from others. This newfound understanding reshaped their perception of strength and brought a sense of respect for the diversity of resilience that existed across the galaxy. The Xernians' relationship with humanity began to take on new meaning. What had started as an assessment of human weakness had transformed into a bond of mutual respect. Both species had something to offer, something to learn, and something to protect. As they established a formal alliance, the Xernians and humans agreed to share their knowledge, their strategies, and their perspectives on survival. Together, they would explore the galaxy, each species bringing its own unique strengths to bear on the challenges they faced. In time, the Xernians came to appreciate the profound wisdom that lay in humanity's approach to resilience. The humans' willingness to embrace risk, to confront the unknown, and to pursue progress for its own sake had revealed a strength that the Xernians had once overlooked. Humanity had taught them that survival was not merely about enduring hardship but about transforming it, using it as a catalyst for growth and innovation. This lesson resonated deeply with the Xernians, who now saw resilience as a multifaceted quality, one that required both strength and adaptability. The experience had reshaped their culture, broadening their understanding of what it meant to be a Deathworlder. The Xernians had always believed that their survival was a testament to their physical might, but now they understood that resilience could take many forms. As they looked toward the future, the Xernians embraced the diversity of strength that existed within the galaxy, united by a shared purpose with humanity. Together, they would face new challenges, each species strengthened by the other's example, ready to confront whatever dangers lay ahead. In this new alliance, the Xernians and humans stood as equals, bonded by a mutual respect born of their unique journeys. Each had been forged by the trials of their worlds, shaped by the demands of survival. Yet now, they understood that resilience was not just a matter of strength but a testament to the power of unity, adaptation, and the unbreakable spirit shared by all true Deathworlders.